Your money could be arriving sooner than you expect this week. But are you prepared for it? Millions of people on universal credit, state pension and 10 other benefits are about to see their payment dates change due to the upcoming bank holiday. Missing this crucial information could leave you struggling to budget until your next payment. I've heard from viewers who ran out of money last bank holiday because they weren't prepared for the extended gap between payments. Today, I'm sharing exactly what's happening, when you'll get paid, and the major benefit shakeups that could affect your future finances in ways no one is talking about yet. If you rely on benefits for your income, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. If you're one of the millions of people receiving benefits like universal credit or state pension, pay close attention because your payment dates are changing this week. Due to the early May bank holiday falling on Monday, May 5th, the DWP is making payments early to ensure you're not left without money over the long weekend. But have you checked if you're affected? Not everyone will have their payment dates changed, as it depends on when you first applied and when your claim was approved. For example, if you normally receive your universal credit payment on the 10th of each month, this change won't affect you. But if your regular payment date aligns with the bank holiday, you need to be prepared. So when exactly will you get paid? If your regular payment date falls on the bank holiday Monday, you'll receive your money early on Friday, May 2nd instead. This applies to 12 major benefits including universal credit, state pension, personal independence payment, child benefit, and several others. Let me break down the complete list for you: attendance allowance, carers allowance, child benefit, disability living allowance, employment and support allowance, income support, job seekers allowance, pension credit, personal independence payment, state pension, tax credits including working tax credit, and universal credit. Have you already noticed this change in your payment schedule? Or is this news to you? Check your bank account or online DWP portal to confirm your payment date. While getting paid early might seem like good news, have you thought about how it affects your budgeting? Since your next payment will still be on its usual date, you'll need to make this money last longer than usual. For instance, if you normally receive your payment every 2 weeks on a Monday, but get this payment on Friday instead, you'll need to stretch those funds for an extra 3 days until your next regular payment date. Do you have a plan for managing your finances during this extended period? Many people find themselves short by the time their next regular payment date comes around because they haven't adjusted their spending accordingly. Let me share a quick budgeting tip that's helped many of my viewers. Consider dividing your payment by the number of days it needs to last, giving you a daily spending limit. For example, if you receive £600 that needs to last 17 days instead of the usual 14, that's about £35 per day instead of £43. Those few pounds difference each day can add up quickly if you're not careful. What other strategies have you found helpful for managing these irregular payment schedules? If you notice your payment hasn't arrived by the end of Friday, don't panic immediately. Sometimes payments can take until late evening to process. However, if you're concerned about your payment not arriving as expected, you can contact the DWP helpline on 0800 328 5644. Be prepared for longer wait times than usual, as many others will likely be calling with the same concerns. Having your national insurance number and basic details ready can help speed up the process. But did you know that this isn't the only change happening to the benefits system? There are several major reforms on the horizon that could significantly impact your financial situation in the coming months. Have you heard about the government's plans to merge job seekers allowance with employment and support allowance? This change aims to provide more financial support to those with a work history. But what does this mean for your specific circumstances? Will you be better or worse off under the new system? For instance, if you've been working consistently for several years before needing to claim benefits, you might receive a higher rate under the new merged benefit. However, if you have limited work history, you might not see any improvement. These are important questions to consider as these changes begin to roll out, and I'll be covering this topic in much more detail in next week's video. There are also proposed changes to the eligibility criteria for personal independence payment, commonly known as PIP. Under the new rules, to qualify for the £105 weekly payment, claimants will need to score at least 4 points in a single daily living activity during their assessment. This is different from the current system, where claimants can qualify with a lower overall score spread across multiple activities. Let me explain what this might look like in practice. Currently, if you score 2 points for difficulty preparing food and 2 points for difficulty managing medications, you could qualify for the standard rate. Under the new system, you would need to score at least 4 points in just one of these categories. Have you thought about how this might affect your PIP assessment if you're currently receiving this benefit or planning to apply in the future? I've heard from viewers who are worried their PIP payments might stop entirely under these new rules, particularly those with multiple moderate difficulties rather than one severe difficulty. If you're concerned, it might be worth seeking advice from a welfare rights advisor who can help you understand how your specific condition might be assessed under the new system. These new requirements are expected to come into effect sometime next year, so it's worth preparing now if you think you might be affected. And remember, existing PIP recipients will eventually be reassessed under the new criteria, so this affects current claimants too. Looking ahead to the spring bank holiday on Monday, May 26th, we'll see another round of early payments. Mark this date in your calendar now, as you'll face the same budgeting challenges then. Would creating a special bank holiday budget help you manage these irregular payment schedules? Many of my viewers have found that setting aside a small emergency fund specifically for these extended payment periods has helped them avoid financial stress. And what about universal credit? Did you know it's replacing 6 benefits under the old welfare system? These legacy benefits include working tax credit, child tax credit, income-based job seekers allowance, income support, income-related employment and support allowance, and housing benefit. If you're currently receiving any of these benefits, you have the option to move over to universal credit voluntarily, but it's crucial to understand that you might not be better off financially. Let me share a real example. Sarah, a single parent with 2 children who works part-time, was receiving working tax credit and housing benefit. When she moved to universal credit, she initially received less money each month, although the work allowance eventually made up some of the difference. However, John, who has a disability and was on employment and support allowance, found he received more money after moving to universal credit due to the additional elements he qualified for. Have you considered what moving to universal credit would mean for your specific situation? Once you've moved over, you can't go back to legacy benefits, so this decision shouldn't be taken lightly. Using an online benefits calculator from charities like Turn to Us or Entitled to can help you compare your current benefits with what you'd receive under universal credit. These calculators are free and easy to use, and it's also worth asking these organizations for personalized advice based on your circumstances. Did you know that Citizens Advice also offers a dedicated help to claim service specifically for universal credit applications? They can guide you through the entire process and help you understand how the change might affect your finances. Even if you choose not to move to universal credit now, you may be automatically moved over if you experience a change in circumstances, such as moving home, changing your working hours, or having a baby, and eventually, everyone will be transitioned to the universal credit system. So have you started preparing for this inevitable change? Understanding how universal credit works now could save you from financial stress later. For instance, are you aware that universal credit is paid monthly in arrears? Which means if you're currently receiving weekly or fortnightly payments, you'll need to adjust your budgeting accordingly. Another important aspect of universal credit that many people don't realize is that it includes housing costs directly in your payment, rather than being paid separately like housing benefit. This means you'll be responsible for paying your rent yourself from your universal credit payment. Have you considered how you'll manage this if you're currently used to having your housing benefit paid directly to your landlord? Setting up a dedicated bank account or standing order for rent payments could help ensure you don't accidentally spend money needed for housing. Universal credit also has different rules around savings and income compared to legacy benefits. For example, if you have savings over £6,000, this will start to reduce your universal credit entitlement. And if you have savings over £16,000, you won't be eligible at all. How might this affect your decision to save for emergencies or future expenses? And if you're working, universal credit has a taper rate that reduces your benefit as your earnings increase. Currently, for every £1 you earn above your work allowance, your universal credit payment reduces by 55p. Have you worked out how this might affect your total income if you're considering taking on more hours at work? Understanding these details now can help you make informed decisions about your benefits and financial planning. I've created a free downloadable guide to universal credit that breaks down all these details in simple terms. You'll find the link in the description below. This guide has already helped thousands of my viewers navigate the transition to universal credit with confidence. To summarize, if you're expecting benefit payments on Monday, May 5th, you'll now receive them on Friday, May 2nd instead. Make sure you budget carefully to make this money last until your next regular payment date. And with significant changes coming to job seekers allowance, employment and support allowance, PIP, and the continued rollout of universal credit. Staying informed about these developments is more important than ever. What's your experience with these benefit changes? Have you already been moved to universal credit, or are you still on legacy benefits? Share your thoughts and questions in the comments below, and I'll do my best to provide helpful information or direct you to resources that can assist you further. Our community is incredibly supportive, and you might find valuable advice from others who have been through similar situations. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. I post weekly updates on benefit changes, application tips, and advice on maximizing your entitlements. Next week, I'll be diving deeper into the proposed changes to PIP assessments, including exclusive insights from a former DWP assessor who's agreed to share insider tips on how to prepare for your assessment. You definitely won't want to miss that one.